Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm trying to edit this banga recipe and I realized that I didn't do an intro. If you're new here, I'm Jane. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. So I just thought I should share with you guys my banga recipe. I don't know why, but I just felt like it would be helpful for mostly people in diaspora who make banga with banga paste, and how you can avoid having a lot of water in your banga and have the perfect banga taste. So if this is something you're looking for, please watch to the end, subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if you try my recipe, please tag me on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. So guys, for this recipe I'm going to be using crayfish, and I love crayfish a lot in anything soup, anything rice, but for rice I don't use it a lot. But for this recipe banga, I'm going to be using a lot of crayfish, and that's because I do not have dry fish for this recipe today. So yeah, I'm quite generous with my crayfish today, and also I'm going to be adding ginger to it, and then I'll be using some onion as well. I'm super generous with my onion, very generous. And also I'm going to be using some chili peppers, and trust me, there's no chili pepper in my food without the green pepper, because green chili is the real deal. Okay, jump on it if you haven't. I would actually love to add some bell peppers, but then I ran out of it for some reason. I don't know, it wasn't in my kitchen. So yeah, we're gonna scrap that. And then I added some banga spices and beletete leaf. You guys, I don't know how that's pronounced, but yeah, it's like from the Delta area. Also, I'm going to be adding some fresh parsley and basil, and onion. You guys will see what I'll do with it. And then ogiri, of course, ogiri or ogiri, whatever you guys call it in your place. Then I'm going to add some oregano and bouillon cubes. I'm also going to be using some scent leaf. I'm definitely going to soak it in water so that it will be ready before I'm going to be using it. Then I'm going to use some spices, which is Italian seasoning, chili peppers, very hot ones, Spanish paprika, and nutmeg. Basically, I don't cook without nutmeg, you guys. I always have it in my food. And also I'm going to be using the banga extract, of course. Then we're going to have our mackerel fish. This is because I couldn't find catfish for some reason. It just vanished in the market online. It vanished. Okay, so yes, next thing I'm going to do is my meat and meat stock. Basically, you have to season your meat to have meat stock, right? So somehow I didn't record when I was seasoning my beef. I don't know how it skipped, but yeah, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of what is inside this beef. It's just basically all the spices that I mentioned, aside from the banga spice, and I added salt and also an all-purpose seasoning called magic syrup. You could use your regular all-purpose seasoning wherever you are to make this recipe. And then normally how I make my meat stock is that I don't add water, a lot of water in the beginning. I just let it simmer, or should I say boil, for like 4-5 minutes, so that all the juice will just get into the beef. Then I will now add a bit of water and keep adding water along the way, just so my beef is very tasty. As you can see, I also added some fresh basil and all that, and fresh parsley. These two herbs, I use them fresh. You can't tell me any other thing. Next thing I move on to is seasoning my fish. I season this with an all-purpose seasoning called magic syrup and just salt. Trust me, it's just enough. Just put enough of it and massage it into your fish, and you are good. And then I go ahead to fry this with oil. You guys just already know the basics. I'm just trying to skip all of those processes because I feel like you would know. So I just go ahead and fry it. I actually marinate it for like 30 minutes, and I don't put it in the fridge, basically because I do not want it to start having a lot of water in it, and when I want to fry it, not start splashing everywhere. That's actually a hack. So here we just have like my beef, my pomo all cooked, and then I'll go ahead to fry my beef, but I only fry it for like 5 minutes. That's because I don't want it to be too hard. I just want it tender and a bit soft, just to thicken the texture basically. Then the banga extract, I like to mix everything together in the container, because you know how you can get like, you know, and all that, the oil is like sitting one place and all that, so I don't want that. So I like to mix everything together to come into one. I know by now you're surprised why am I using groundnut oil. So I use a bit of groundnut oil, and then I fry some onion, I fry fresh basil and parsley, just to give it a bit of flavor. And then I add, you know, 2 bouillon cubes into this and just fry this for about 3 minutes. The reason why I'm actually frying it is just to give flavor. You guys, my house was smelling so good at the time I was doing this thing, so good. And then I go ahead and add my, you know, extract and let everything just fry. I rinse. Guys, see, this thing was so expensive in African store, so yes, I put water inside and rinsed it out, and then I poured my blended mixture, which is basically pepper, onion, ginger, that's it, and crayfish. So I added my meat stock at this point, basically the water from the beef, and then I let it boil. You guys, just leave it boil. It's gonna like form a lot, so I advise that you use a big pot. And then when you see the oil floating just like this, you know that it is ready. Now I added all my spices. At this point I just added everything. I added the beletete leaf, the banga spice, the other spices that I mentioned. I added the ogiri. Just add everything that you have and then leave it alone. Leave it to boil, no turn am, okay? So I just add everything at this point, just so you know the whole sauce and everything will get in. And then I'll add like water, I'll add my meat, I'll add literally everything that I need to put into the soup. With the fish, everything will be inside, guys, because I want that sauce to get into every single thing. And then I will leave this to boil for about 10 to 15 minutes. I think I let it boil for like 15 minutes actually, and it became thick. This is just the easiest way and fastest way to save yourself from disaster when trying to make banga with the banga extract, because one, if you try to, you know, just put water at first and then put your what's it called, your banga, there's every chance that the water might be more than the banga. So I advise that you take this step. And then I finally garnish everything with fresh parsley and basil and just leave it to boil further. At this point it was already like 15 minutes, so I just stirred through and then let it sit before I started dishing. Guys, if you try this recipe, trust me, you will not want to make banga any other way with the extract, except you're making like the normal way of making banga. But if you're in the diaspora, this is the best method I can advise you, and trust me, everything will bang. My folks love this, my customers loved it as well. So if you're in the Philippines and you're watching and you want to order something like this, please send me a DM on Instagram. That's all for this video. Make sure to subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.